Everyone, how is everyone? Good evening. Thank you for joining me once again for the Spread the Love series. This is going to be the last one for a little while. Had this will be the eighth one. We've had about 2 months of it, but it's been really fun, and I'm glad that people have enjoyed it and you found someone new to support and some independent artists to discover, because that's what it's all about. And I hope these streams achieve that. Tonight I'm going to be chatting to another Nottingham artist called Ben Smith. We're chatting about his recent singles, what he's got going on in the future. But yeah, before I start blabbing on, I will add him in. If I can remember how to do that. Oh, here we go. It's been so long.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, nice to meet you in a weird kind of
Yeah, I
platform.
think it's the first time that we've met
Yeah,
after, liking our music and all that sort of stuff.
exactly. Yeah, but I know you since I moved to Nottingham. So if people don't know you, do you want to give them a bit of an
Yeah.
idea what kind of music you make?
So, my name's Ben Smith. I've been doing it for about 5 years, something like that. And I suppose it's quite acoustic folk, a bit like Frank Turner and Beans on Toast and all these sort of people. Yeah, quite a bit of comedy in there, and a bit heartfelt as well. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, when I was listening to it, I definitely got the folk element to it, especially in like Who's That Girl? It's like when you have everyone singing together, and it's such a
Yeah.
lovely song. Is folk something that you grew up on and you take a lot of influence from?
Um, I mean, I've always kind of liked music where the lyrics are really important. So I actually like kind of grew up on rap music and
Oh, okay.
stuff. Yeah, so obviously the lyrics are really important there. Um, it kind of went on to, I suppose that's where it kind of led on to kind of like folk music and stuff, because folk artists take the lyrics really, really seriously as
Mm.
well. So, yeah. I suppose I have been into music like Bob Dylan and what have you for ages, and then that kind of shifted into all these new guys like Frank Turner and what have you.
Mm. Oh, awesome. Yeah, you can definitely hear that throughout the music. And it's really cool. So you got three singles, but they're all released 2020. So it's quite a busy year for you. How
Yeah,
did you find it?
oh God, it's possibly like the worst timing. Um, I released the first single in January, so everything was normal at that
Uh,
point, and it
just
was
about,
yeah, it was
yeah.
all fine. I did like a Jam Cafe launch gig, which was great, like sold out and stuff. And I thought this is a good start to the year, and then
Mm.
coronavirus happened. Um, and I kind of thought I could save these songs, but also I want to keep the momentum rolling, even though we can't, go out and gig. So I carried on putting them out after that, and
And
yeah,
yeah,
it's been good.
exactly. And I think if no one created or released anything in the last year and a half, it would have been a lot worse.
Exactly, yeah. Like I think a few musicians have kind of put it off and said like
Mm.
I'll do it in a few months' time, but the lockdown just carried on and carried on and carried on. So yeah, like you say, you've got to put something out at some point, or people will they'll just forget that you even exist. I
Exactly.
suppose.
Yeah, and there's no good time at the moment. It's kind of you just gotta cross your fingers and hope that it gets out there somewhere.
Exactly, because things are starting to look better, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Mm.
So you've just got to kind of do it, I suppose.
Yeah. Have you got stuff booked in for when we can go out and gig and stuff?
Yeah, it's getting a bit manic. It's probably better than it was before. It seems like everybody wants to put a festival or put a gig on
Yeah.
at the minute. So after I've got a few festivals like here for the music festival and Border Fest, um,
Nice.
and then I've got a few supporting my mate Brad Deer at the Bodega, um, and I'm going to be announcing at some point my album launch gig, which should
Yeah.
be good. I'm hoping, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the teasers for that. It looks
Yeah.
like it's gonna be really like just from that kind of the illustration of it and the cover, it just looks like a really good feel good album. Is that how you wanted it to be?
That's exactly how I wanted it to be. I mean, I've been writing absolutely loads during lockdown, and
Mm.
I've got the kind of sad songs and stuff, and then I've got all these songs about going out and I suppose what life was like before lockdown. And I thought
Mm.
it'd probably make more sense to put out an album full of happy songs and stuff, and kind of get people back into that feel good mood, I suppose. So yeah,
Oh,
that's what
awesome.
that whole album is. It's so songs about going out, it's songs about festivals, it's songs about you know getting very drunk and all that stuff. Yeah.
So when can we expect it coming out? It's a couple of months now, isn't it?
It's 3 months, I think. It's I
Cool.
probably put it out a bit early, but it's the 23rd of July. I'm making sure I've definitely got this right. Yeah, 23rd of July is when it's going to come out. The pre-orders for the CD are available now, so people can go and pre-order a CD.
Oh, nice.
Um, and then I'm hoping the gig will be the 26th, so it's just 3 days after that.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. And I saw as well, when since I've been following you, it kind of seems like everyone in Nottingham knows who you are. It's kind of, you seem quite a household name in Nottingham. Have you found that the Nottingham scene has been really welcoming to you?
Oh, definitely. Like, it's quite funny that Nottingham's been like that to me
Yeah.
because technically I live in Derby. I'm
Oh,
from Heno, which is Derbyshire, but I work in Nottingham. I always go out in Nottingham, so it just kind of became that's where I gigged.
hmm.
And I organise the DH Lawrence Festival and the songwriter sessions and quite a few of those gigs. So
Nice.
that's kind of where I got to meet all these musicians and the open mics and so on. So it got to that point where yeah, where it seems like everybody knows me. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. But yeah. Nottingham's a great place for music. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's really nice kind of community here. I find that when I moved, I was like, oh, I don't know anyone, and there seems to be like a really tight knit group of musicians here. And then I was like, oh, actually, like I'm on the list of some of them as well.
Yeah,
And I'm getting a gig, and I'm like, I've met like 70% of these people. I talk to them all the time.
yeah.
It's really nice.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, yeah. I feel like everybody. I've gigged different places like around the country, and I feel like Nottingham's just a special place. I feel like as long as you're a decent person and stuff, and you're good at playing music, 'cause that always helps. I feel like everybody will help each other out, and they'll offer gigs to each other, and they'll
Yeah,
ask each other to support them and stuff like that. Just to support each other, like it's great place.
awesome. I got a couple of questions. Have you got any chance of vinyls for this album, or is it
Oh yeah,
just
I've just
CD
seen
and
that.
digital?
I think that's my cousin actually.
Oh,
I'm planning it. It's a weird thing, vinyl, because it costs so much, and you have to get like a
yeah.
certain amount done. So you kind of have to be sure that people are going to buy them, and they're not just saying they are. So yeah, I'm building up a list of people that definitely will, and
Nice.
it's looking decent. So I reckon I'm going to get vinyl done for
Oh,
sure.
that'll be exciting. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
it's nice to get a really supportive fan base, and it seems like you do. I was expecting you to say you'd been doing it for a lot longer than 5 years. Have you kind of
Oh,
been doing it quite full time, or is it alongside other jobs and stuff like that?
it's been alongside other jobs. I work at Nottingham Central Library.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, so it's always pretty much been a part time thing. I studied music.
Hmm.
I taught music at Derby College for a couple of years. And then after that, kind of that's when I started doing the acoustic thing. So it has actually hasn't been kind of that long really.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and it's always just been I just occasionally showed up to open mics or something like that. It's only been I suppose the last couple of years that I thought actually I'll properly record these songs. I'll really make an effort to get some decent gigs, and that sort of stuff. And it's going well. It's going well so far, so I'm quite happy. Yeah.
I'm glad. Well, yeah, it looks like you're working really hard, and it looks like it's also paying off, which is really nice to
Yeah.
see.
Thank you.
I've got another question as well. What's this?
It's from him again. It's from Martin again.
I've got two here. One is, how did you record in lockdown? Did you remote or did you get to go to the studio?
Well, we had to do it in kind of sections because they were opening up and then closing back down and opening up, and so there were sections where studios were allowed to open up because it was something like a rule, because they couldn't do it from home, so they
Yeah.
were allowed to do it from their workplace, if that makes sense. So yeah, we kind of just did it whenever we could. I think we did like a couple of songs after the first lockdown, and then another couple after second, or sort of something like that. It seems like it's been a long time recording,
Yeah.
but it was just because there was these little moments where we just couldn't. So yeah. We basically just did it whenever we were allowed to, and it's finally come together at the end. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Is that kind of how your songwriting process goes? Do you go with a pretty full demo, or do you go with just, guitar and voice and kind of work with it with a producer or a band or?
It's so I have a Mac and Logic and all of that sort of stuff. So I normally write the song, the vocals, the lyrics, and the acoustic first. Record that in, make a super basic kind of drums and bass and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Just an idea of what I would like it to sound like, and then bring it into the studio. And the drummer normally goes, "I get what you're doing. Well, that's rubbish. Here's a proper drum track for it," and the same with the bassist. So the actual demos of these songs sound nothing like what they've eventually become, but they absolutely sound like incredible now. So yeah, I kind of like create the base of it, and then these musicians come in and basically make it sound good.
Yeah, I quite like doing it like that, because it's your song, but you get the little kind of bits of musicianship from the individual musician. So it's like a drummer that does things slightly differently to how any other drummer would do it, and that's kind of makes it all a bit more like a, especially some of the folkier ones, it feels more like a really big community making the song. It's really nice.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And they I'm not a drummer, I'm not a bassist or whatever, so they understand like the intricacies and stuff, like the adding in a drum fill every so often, and all these little things that make it sound more human and less like robotic, like a Logic drum, kit or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Do I have another question? Oh, Faye Webster. Don't know what that means. Does that mean anything to you, Ben?
What's that? Someone put up. Who wrote? I can't see anything.
Oh,
unless mine's coming in later than you. I don't know.
But yeah, sometimes I just get very strange. Oh yeah, sometimes I just get like completely random ones from like old streams for some reason. So apologies.
Oh right.
So with the 3 release singles as well, but there's also one that's on Bandcamp, isn't there? The Dog and Parrot one. So that's the charity single. But do you want to tell us a bit more about that? If we can still buy it, I believe, can't we?
Oh yeah, definitely. So during lockdown, I think one of the sectors that kind of got screwed over the most was hospitality. They basically became a scapegoat for the government to just shut them down without actually any evidence to say that they were causing many of they were spreading it or anything like that. So I kind of felt bad for them. They were stuck in this weird place where they weren't allowed to open, and also a lot of them weren't getting a lot of money from the government, all that sort of stuff. So anyway, my favourite pub is the Dog and Parrot. It's a local place in Eastwood, and I put on a lot of gigs and stuff like that there. And I thought it'd just be a nice thing for them to write this song about them, put this really cool music video together of footage from the pub and from locals kind of saying cheers and all that sort of stuff, and then put it out to them as a surprise. So they didn't know anything about it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was really nice. We showed it them the day before, like in a little Zoom chat thing, and the landlady was, crying and crying and crying. And stuff. And we decided that it'd only go on Bandcamp, and all the money would go to the Royal British Legion, which is really important to the landlord and a lot of the locals. And then the rest of the money went to Music Venue Trust, I believe it was called. The basically charity giving money to venues that were really struggling during lockdown, and it went down really, really well. I was very, very happy with it. Raised a lot of money. Yeah, and it's still there, available on Bandcamp. I think I put it at something like £1, something like that. So if anybody's watching and hasn't bought it, just head over. Buy a copy of it, and the money goes straight to those charities. Really important charities, I think.
Yeah, it's a really lovely thing to do, especially when, it's kind of hard to see how you can help, and sometimes, you're like, well, how can I help? Because they need all of this and I can't give them that. But something kind of as simple as a song, where obviously you put loads of effort into it and stuff, but something as kind of human as just a song and just bringing people together makes such a difference.
Yeah, definitely. And because of the subject matter and the community like feel to it, it ended up, a lot of effort went into it, but it became quite easy to do because everybody was so willing to help. Everybody was sending over their videos. I worked with Ben Marshall Productions, who I've worked with a lot on this album and all my other singles and everything. And he was proper helpful, wanted to, make the song sound as good as possible, and he put the video together and everything. So, yeah, it just became a really nice kind of community thing that we all did together. Yeah,
exactly. That's what you want out of lockdown, really, isn't it? Just a nice community.
Exactly, and that's what pubs are about. So I suppose it matched. Yeah.
Exactly. Have you been able to? Are they open at the moment? Have they got a nice beer garden?
Oh yeah. They've I assume maybe from like a grant that they got or something. I don't know. They managed to kind of extend their beer garden.
Oh, good.
So all they had was basically this little alley or something before, and now they've managed to stretch it out, and it's really nice. So I suppose the kind of positive from this lockdown has been a lot of the pubs and restaurants and stuff have kind of had to think of different ways to work with the rules, and it's meant that they've like expanded on their outdoor areas and all that sort of stuff, and just made them better for when they can finally open up, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I'll have to go at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Book
so,
you in for a gig.
Yeah. Exactly. Do you have? I've got a question here as well. Do you have gigs outside of like Derbyshire, Derbyshire and Nottinghamshire booked? A bit further afield.
Yeah, well, I've got that here for the music festival. I think it's called Bideford. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, or Bideford or Bideford or something like that. It's like bottom end of the country. I think it's like, I don't know. Is that Martin again?
It's
yeah, it is. I'll send him a message. I'll send you a message after, Martin, where it is. But it's I think it's called Bideford. I've got one there. I'm trying to think. I'm working with a really great guy called James Wilcox, JMW Promotions, and he's sorted me out with loads of gigs next, well, at the end of the year and next year. So I'm hoping to kind of finally get out of that just playing Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire thing and get further afield and start playing
Yeah.
some cool stuff.
So is that the one of the main plans for you is to just get gigging as much, or do you have bigger plans for the future?
Um, it's gigging more, but more selective gigs, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I think a problem that some musicians have, and what I kind of did was you just kind of want to gig all the time and you accept anything, or
Mm.
you go and play every single open mic and stuff like that, and you kind of wear yourself out and stuff. So I've kind of made a choice to choose my gigs more sensibly this time. So you know, and it's looking really good for the rest of the year and starting next year as well.
Mm.
Some ones that I'm looking really excited for, rather than being like, oh, I'm going to play this place where there's going to be 3 people at it and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Now I'm hoping with this album, it just means I'm going to have more material, hopefully a bigger audience to come and listen to it and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to say no sometimes when you're
It is,
feel like
isn't
you're
it?
starting out.
Yeah, and kind of when, like say, when you know everybody in Nottingham or Derbyshire or whatever, you know all the musicians, they're your mates, and it's difficult saying like no to your mate, like I don't want to
Yeah.
play that gig, like so you just get roped into loads of
Mm.
them, and
Oh, well, hopefully, yeah, you get some proper exciting, cool gigs in the next year or so. That'd
yeah,
be good. So are you going to be, is Instagram kind of the best place to find all of your gigs?
yeah, I think so. I normally post everything on here and Facebook and what have you. I have a website as well, which is benmarksmith.com. Dead
Okay,
simple.
cool.
And that has like the kind of um, updated list of every gig and where the tickets are and stuff. So it's quite easy to find them all there. Yeah.
Cool. Lovely. Got a couple more questions and then I will have a look, see. Oh, already done that one. Oh, here we go. Do you have to be in a certain headspace in order to write?
Um, I I know a lot of musicians do, and I think you do have those times where lyrics just flow to you easier. Um, but I don't know. I think I've always just so when I first started studying music, I made myself do this thing where I wrote a song every single day, and of course, a lot of those were absolutely rubbish. But I feel like you have to do that. It's that kind of I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but the 10,000 hour rule, where
Yeah.
you don't become an expert or something until you've done 10,000 hours worth of something. Um, and I think that year like massively helped in terms of writing lyrics, in terms of different structures for songs and stuff. And now, if I sit down to write a song, I can just do it whenever I want, and it doesn't mean that song's always going to be good. And I think sometimes maybe yes, you do need to be in a certain mindset to write a really good song. But just in general, I think it's good to just write as much as you can, and don't care if that song's rubbish, because you just never have to write it. But if you've got it out of your head, then it's gone then, and you can start on the next idea. So yeah, the main thing I'd say is like, don't think that you have to be in a certain way just to write a song. Just write as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, because it is just a skill that, even if you have nothing to write about, there's always something that you can just look
Exactly.
out the window. You're like, right, that's my starting line, and let's just work from there.
Yeah, it's like a footballer. Like, you get better at taking free kicks by practicing and practicing and practicing.
Mm.
You don't take a really good free kick because you're in like a certain mood. Like they'd never say that. So I think like musicians should kind of maybe think of it the same way. I suppose there's more emotion in songwriting, so kind of that's a big part of it. But also, like you say, it's a skill, and every skill you have to practice and practice and practice at, don't you? So yeah.
So although, you know, 5 years isn't a huge amount of time, but it is still quite a long time to be in the music business and stuff. Have you found that you know, you've learned lots of things? You've had a lot of learning curves, I guess. You know, if you were to speak to yourself 5 years ago, what advice would you give to yourself?
Yeah. I'd say don't rush anything. I did the whole thing of, you know, rushing out music as soon as possible um, without making sure that it was recorded perfect, as well, not perfectly, but as well as it could be, or rushing out songs that were half written. Yeah, that sort of thing. So don't feel like you have to get music out like as soon as possible. Just make sure that when you finally do, you're really happy with it. I think one of the best examples is, and I'm sure you know him, Laurie Illingsworth. That's a lad from Nottingham. Well, he's Derbyshire, he's from Belper, but he runs the open mic in Nottingham, and he's not got any music released yet. He's got, in terms of like on Spotify or whatever, I think he's got like some videos and some covers and things on YouTube, but he's not got any music released yet. Every single one of his gigs is absolutely rammed, and it's kind of because he's building. It's like he's building tension or something. He's getting known for his live gigs. People are loving his songs from that point, and it means by the time that he finally releases something, it's going to bang. Like everybody's going to be listening to it because he's waited until he's, you know, really happy with it. So that's 5 years ago. I definitely would have said to myself, you know what, like wait. Don't chuck out that EP that, you know, your vocals are absolutely tragic on and what have you. Just wait until you put something good out. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Very good advice.
Okay.
So which one of the songs, unless it's maybe an unreleased one or one from the album, are you gonna have a stab at this evening?
I'm gonna do a song called Old Irish Band. So yeah, I'm a massive fan of traditional Irish music, and then kind of punk Irish bands such as you know, Flogging Molly and Dropkick Murphys and Pogues and what have you. So it's kind of my tribute to them, I suppose. And on the released version, there's going to be a female vocal by a girl called Kelsey in Kelsey and the Embers. And it's got a proper fairy tale in New York kind of vibe to it. It sounds incredible, but she's obviously not here tonight. Yeah, I don't think a boyfriend would be happy if she was. So this is I'm going to be singing female parts.
Cool. Look forward to it.
Do you want me to do it now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Wooden chairs on wooden floors and a bonny lass at the bar, pouring pints in fishnet tights while shaking her tip jar. The boys are getting leery 'cause they've had a bit to drink. What's this poor young barmaid gonna think? Autumn locks and knee-length frocks in a pub they like to call the old stairway to heaven, 'cause at the end most men would fall. To her knees the boys would plead, come take me by the hand, let's dance a jig to this good old Irish band. When you haven't got a phone, you better write a roll of letter, 'cause the girl with the foundation's gonna find someone much fitter. And if by chance, somehow, some way, your invite ain't been canned, Then take her to that good old Irish band. He takes me to a quaint jazz bar where the birds are scared to tweet. Well, I say, what are you playing at? I might stamp my feet. Well, I know a pub not far away where the beer and music's grand. Come follow me to this good old Irish band. When you haven't got a phone, you better write a roll of letter, 'cause a girl with a foundation's gonna find someone much fitter. And if by chance, somehow, some way your invite ain't been canned, then take her to that good old Irish band. This dancing thing ain't too odd, I've had her up all night. Well, actually, he barely knows his bloody left from right. Well, I think she's playing hard to get, I think he's rather daft. Well, I've gotta say, she's been a right good laugh. When you haven't got a phone, you better write a roll of letter, 'cause a girl with a foundation's gonna find someone much fitter. And if by chance, somehow, some way, your invite ain't been canned, then take her to that good old Irish band. When you haven't got a phone, you better write a roll of letter, 'cause a girl with a foundation's gonna find someone much fitter. And if by chance, somehow, some way, your invite ain't been canned, then take her to that good old Irish band. Dan, dan. Yes, take her to that good old Irish band. Dan, dan, dan. Take her to that good old Irish band. There we go.
Hey, that is so catchy.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Did it
awesome.
sound all right? I don't
Yeah?
know.
Yeah, it's Instagram. It's never the best, but yeah, that sounded awesome. I can't wait to hear that. Oh,
Oh, thank you, thank you. It sounds wicked. It's got fiddle and all of that sort of stuff on it. Yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say I could hear some fiddle on it.
yeah.
Oh, nice. That sounds like a really good, feel good, get everyone in a full pub playing that. That'd be
Yeah.
lovely.
I mean, like we said at the start, that's what it's all about. I'm hoping that launch gig. I'm hoping it's going to be a big ruckus one with everyone drinking and dancing and all that stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to look out for it. That it sounds like it would be a very good night out.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on and letting us all hear your music.
Oh,
If you
no
want to
problem.
just quickly shout again where people can find you.
Yeah. So my name's Ben Mark Smith, and pretty much on anywhere it's like at Ben Mark Smith or Ben underscore Mark underscore Smith. So if you search that or search benmarksmith.com, you'll be able to find all of my stuff and get one of my CDs. That'd be wicked. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully I'll see you at a gig sometime soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a lovely rest of your evening. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Got that song stuck in my head. Cool. Thank you for coming on. I'm going to have a little break from these, but please do give Ben a follow. He's doing some really great stuff, and it's got a really, really great community following here in Nottingham, which is how I know him. So yeah, give him a follow, spread some love to him. Thank you very much for coming along and listening to these. I hope you've found some people that you enjoy listening to and you want to support. I will be back at some point, I'm sure. But thanks for coming. Thanks for supporting us all. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening.